Hi, how are you doing, everyone? This is Miss Mary. Okay, let's study classical period today and composers. Okay, go to page 89. Last lesson, we studied about Mr. Mozart, right? He's a classical period composer, very well-known composer, and he was born in 1756 and he died at the age of 35 at 1791. And he was a court musician and he was a professional composer. Okay, and he wrote many pieces for keyboard, for piano. Okay, and even for the choral works, operas, okay, and for other instruments too. And he wrote many concertos and symphonies too. Okay, and there are two other composers who's really well known from that period is Muzio Clementi, Italian, okay, 1750, okay, and Frederick Kuhlau, born in Germany, 1786. All right, so we were up to number 2 last week, right? And let's do number 3. We did it up to number 2 and number 3. What was special about Mozart's childhood? He was a genius. He was a child prodigy, okay? And he traveled and performed, right? A lot with his sister and his father. They both were musicians. And he wrote his music at early age, right? Well, 4 years old. Okay. Now, where was Mozart born? Austria. Okay. Name 2 other classical composers from that era. Mr. Clementi, Italian, and Mr. Kuhlau, and he is German. Okay, great. Can we study the next page now? Okay, Franz Joseph Haydn, Mr. Haydn. He was born before Mozart, about 22, 23 years before Mozart. Okay, I need you to study this again. Okay, just stop the video and read them for about 2-3 times and come back to it. Okay, see you soon. Okay, welcome back. Since you studied Mr. Haydn, we'll just do the questions then. Okay, answer these questions. Where did Haydn spend his childhood? Of course, Vienna. Yeah. All right. Mr. Haydn was born in Austria, okay, near the Hungarian border. All right, but he studied and he grew up in Vienna. Now, what did Haydn do for a living? He was a director of music to Prince Esterhazy. That's it. Director of music to Prince Esterhazy. Okay. What 2 musical forms did Haydn developed? You know that, sonata form. For sonata form, you want to remember Mr. Haydn, who developed it, and Mr. Mozart, who used it, and Mr. Beethoven, he made it more rich. Okay? Sonata form, and he did one more thing. Now, he developed 4 movements for symphony. 4 movements. First, second, third, and fourth movements. Okay, discuss Haydn's practical jokes in life and music. Oh my goodness. it's there. So when he was young, what did he do? he cut off the ponytail, right, of his friend, okay, and he wrote like a farewell symphony, and he wrote surprise symphony, and it's all there, page 90. Okay, it says here, his farewell symphony was written at a time when the court musicians were overdue for a vacation. Okay, all right, let's see, there's a surprise symphony. The second movement, which is slow movement, right, has a carefully placed sudden sforzando. You know what sforzando means, right? Like this. Yeah, all of a sudden. Yeah, after a quiet opening to wake sleepy audience. Isn't that cute? It's funny, huh? Okay, let's do number 5. During which period of music history did Haydn live? Classical period. This is good. All right, so much for Mr. Haydn. Okay, now Mr. Ludwig van Beethoven. He's really well-known composer in classical era, but he's transitioning from classic to romantic. Okay, now, he says probably the most famous of all composers. Okay, he wrote a great deal of music for piano, orchestra, and solo instruments. All right, now classical composer, his music represents the transition between the classic and romantic period. Okay, he wrote using classical form, like a sonata form, right, but gave them new richness. He developed, it's right there, he developed sonata form into a deeper and more complex form. Okay, now Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany in 1770. It's about 14-15 years later than Mozart. Okay, but spent most of his life in Vienna, Austria. Okay, so Mr. Haydn, Mr. Mozart, and Mr. Beethoven, they were in Austria, Vienna, Austria. Okay, he made his living as a teacher and composer. Okay, and around age 30, he lost his hearing. Okay, he wrote 32 piano sonatas, 5 piano concertos, they're all well known, 9 symphonies, okay, and abundance of other music. All right, like a string quartet, choral music, and opera. And he died at age of 56. Oh my goodness, I'm much older than him. Okay, now answer these questions. Name one of Beethoven's contribution to musical style. What do you think? Remember the sonata form, typical sonata form in classical era, but he made it to more rich. Okay, so we want to do developed sonata form further. Okay, deeper and more complex form. Okay, did Beethoven write music after he went deaf? Yes, of course he did. Okay, how did Beethoven make his living? As a composer and a teacher, right? And teacher and composer. All right, last one. Which 2 periods music does Beethoven present? Remember his transition between classical and romantic next era, right? Okay, that's good. Then can we study romantic period? Okay, that's page 93. Okay. All right. Now, characteristics of a romantic period is music became more emotional. Okay, that's what you want to remember. Okay, now up here was written about things, people, place, or feelings. Now, look at the title of the song. It's by Mr. Schumann, Mary Farmer. Okay, Mary, feeling. Farmer, it's people, right? Okay, or the 12 Wild Rose thing, right? By McDowell, or Elfin Dance by Grieg. All right. Now, harmonies, more complicated. That's what you want to remember too. Okay, more colorful notes to their chords, using more chromaticism, and staying the string from the tonal scale. Okay, now lyrical melodies. That's what you want to remember. Lyrical. It's very lyrical. Okay, rhythms more complicated. Again, harmonies are more complicated. Now, rhythms are more complicated now. Okay? All right. Now, answer these questions. Number 1, what type of titles are often used in music of romantic period? What type of titles? It's like it's a description of emotion, people, place, right? Places, and what else? Things. Okay. Now, number 2, what changes took place in the harmonies of the music during the romantic period? They became more complicated, right? Became more complicated, more chromaticism. Okay, good. Let's go to the next page. What type of melodies occur in music from romantic period? Lyrical, right? Lyric melodies. Lyric melodies. Okay. Now, number 4, describe some types of rhythms used in romantic music. Like a syncopation, right? Syncopated rhythm. Okay. Cross rhythm and triplets. So it's syncopated rhythm, right? And cross rhythms and triplets. It's all there. Okay, great. Now, do you want to study about Mr. Grieg? Okay, then stop the video and study him and come back. Okay, see you soon. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's answer these questions. Now, number 1, during which period of music history did Grieg live? Romantic. Of course, romantic. Now, where was Grieg born? Norway, right? So it's Norway. Okay, and how did this affect his music? Now, his music were influenced by his country folk music, right? Folk music, that's the answer. Was influenced by folk music from his country. Okay, good. Where did Grieg study music? Germany. He's not German, but he studied his music in Germany. Okay. Number 4, name 2 of Grieg's famous composition. It's up here. Here, Piano Concerto and Peer Gynt Suite. Okay, so write them. Piano Concerto. His Piano Concerto is so beautiful. I love his music, and wow, it's playing his concerto. Beautiful, beautiful. And here, Gynt Suite. All right, great. Do you want to study more romantic composers? Okay, how about Robert Schumann, page 95. Okay, again, stop the tape, stop the video, and study. Okay, welcome back. let's do some questions. It's about Mr. Robert Schumann. He is a composer from, very well-known composer from Romantic period. Okay, number one, who performed Schumann's music for him after his hand became injured? His wife. Name, Clara. His wife, Clara. Okay, 96, number two. For which instrument did Schumann write much of his music? He was a pianist. So how about piano? Okay, name the collection of music by Schumann for beginning piano students. Remember, album for the young. Everyone played those pieces. Now, what was the, can you ever pronounce this? What does Schumann have to do with this? It's a musical journal. Musical journal. And he edited. Okay. All right. Now, what nationality was Schumann? He was a German. Now, during which period of music did Schumann live? Romantic, of course. Okay. For Schumann, as you know, he was born in 1810, and there's another well-known Romantic composer who was born in 1810, the same year. Mr. Chopin? Yeah. Mr. Chopin and Mr. Schumann, they were born in 1810, same year. Now, name two other composers from Romantic periods. There are so many, but we're going to do Mr. Chopin and Mr. Schubert. A lot of sh sound in Romantic era, like a Mr. Schumann, Mr. Chopin, Mr. Schubert. Actually, Mr. Schubert is the transition between the Romantic and the next period. Okay? All right, great. Let's do 20th, 21st centuries, which is contemporary. For 20 and 21st centuries, contemporary pieces, in just one word, you want to say it's chaos. It's very chaotic, okay? Because major and minor tonalities avoided. You no longer know which key you are in, okay? Now, quartal harmony, it's like based on the interval of fourth. Look at this, C to F is fourth, interval fourth. F to B flat is interval fourth. This is all interval of fourth, okay? Now, that's called quartal harmony. And here, bitonality. Okay, two keys, two different keys. Look at this. Right hand is in the D major, left hand is in the E major because there's D sharp and C sharp. Okay, now polytonality. Okay, many keys, many different keys. Now there are four voices. You have soprano voice in D major, alto voice in B flat, tenor in G, and bass in E. Okay, you call that polytonality. And a tonality, no specific key or tonality, a tonal, okay, meaning you do not know which key. Look, there's sharps and flats. They're all mixed up, okay? So you cannot tell which key. Now, irregular and changing meter. So there's a tonality and irregular and changing meters, like this. Have you seen 5/4 or 7/4? Have you played those before? It's very irregular meters, right? Now, and changing time meters, like this. It was 2/4, but it's changing to 4/4, and again, it changes again to 3/4. All right, that's irregular and changing meters. Okay, polyphonic texture, not homophonic texture, but many voices. Okay, like the Baroque era. Okay, now use of classical forms. again, like a sonata form or more forms from classical era. It's little of everything. Okay, so 20 the contemporary music is little of everything, little of baroque, little of classical, and it's atonal. Everything is oh, chaotic. Okay, all right. So we'll do the questions now. Okay, bottom of the page 98. Give the name for each of these typical types of tonality. Now, two separate keys played at the same time. It's two. What do you call it? Bitonality, right? Bitonality. Bitonality. Okay. Now, B. Harmony based on the interval of fourth. Quartal, right? Quartal harmony. Okay. No specific key used. Tonality. Tonality. Okay. Now D. Several different keys played at the same time. Several, many, right? Poly. Tonality. All right. That was easy. Okay. Let's go to the page 99. Number 2. What has happened to major minor tonality in music of 20th and 20th century? They're gone. They're avoided. Okay. Major minor tonalities are avoided. Okay. Now let's do 3. What type of meters are used in music of the century? The modern, contemporary, I mean. Okay. It's irregular. What's regular? Like a 5/4 or 7/4. Okay. Irregular or changing meter. Changing meters. All right. Number 4, what is common texture? Okay. Is that a homophonic or polyphonic? It's polyphonic texture. Now, what forms are often used in this music? Classical forms, like a sonata form, right? Classical forms. Okay. Now, composers from contemporary. Dmitri Kabalovsky, very well-known composer. Why don't you study him? Okay. Now come back again in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. All right, let's do the questions. Where was Kabalovsky born? Russia. Okay, the next page. Okay, page 100. At what age did Kabalovsky get a start on his musical career? It says 18. Wow, 18. Wonderful. Now, what elements of Russia influenced Kabalovsky music? Like folk music, folk songs. Folk music. Okay, patriotic songs. All right. Now, for what was Kabalovsky's famous besides composing music? He was a teacher, writer, administrator. He's a very talented man. Okay. All right. More composers from this era in 1900s. Okay. Bela Bartok. Okay, we'll study about Bela Bartok. All right. Again, stop the video for a few seconds, for a few minutes, and come back. Okay, Bela Bartok. He's a Hungarian. Okay, influenced by Hungarian folk music, like Kabalovsky too. Okay, folk music again. Yeah, he composing being one of the first composers to write using traditional sound. Okay, again, Bartok was innovative in his composing, being one of the first composer to write using traditional sounds. Okay. All right, let's see what else is important here. He wrote many pieces for piano, like piano concerto and the string quartet. Okay. Now, other well-known composers from the same era. Dmitry Shostakovich. When you see Vich at the end, Russia, right? Shostakovich. And Copeland, ooh, USA, born in USA. Okay. All right. Oh, he had a long life. Look, 1900 to 1990. Okay, let's do questions. Number 1, how does Bartok's music differ from that of the composers before him? He used traditional, untraditional, UN, untraditional sounds. Not traditional, but untraditional sounds. What nationality was Bartok, and how did after affect his music? He's Hungarian. Okay? Now, he was influenced by his folk music, right? Influenced by folk music of his country. All right. What are Bartok's microcosmos? Microcosmos. Now, it's a beginning pieces. You know, when it comes to pronunciation, I'm not good at it. Beginning piano pieces. Okay. During which musical period did Bartok live? We are studying about the contemporary, right? 20th and 21st century. Okay. Name 2 other composers from the same country. Same century. It's Mr. Shostakovich, born in Russia, and Mr. Copeland was born in USA. Good job. Okay. All right. There's a lot of information, right? Okay. Now, why don't you go ahead and go over that again later? Okay. And we're gonna do some more review lessons.